And welcome to another edition of Thoughts of the Round Table with me, Matt Rebar.
And me, Paul Laux.
And Paulie, it's been a minute. I mean, seriously, we're I don't want to say that we're bad at updating, but life is crazy right now. We're sorry that we can't be more regular. We're trying to be that Activia for you. We are trying to make you regular, but
when it happens, it happens.
Which is the exact opposite of what you're aiming for when you have Activia. But I haven't really talked to you too much. How are you? What's new?
Oh, same old crap, man. You remember that episode of SpongeBob when Squidward lives in that town of all other Squidwards and he's like doing the same routine every day?
Yeah, and it's like canned bread, him playing the clarinet, him
riding a bike.
Yeah, and it's on repeat, and he's like slowly getting more depressed as he does it. Yeah.
That's basically what this feels like at this point.
Just because, so explain to me your schedule. Like, what's your daily routine like? You're just at home all day?
Work 7 to 3:30, and then you get off of that.
Still. That's remotely?
Yeah. And then I take care of the baby till about 5, and then I make dinner, and then I do schoolwork till midnight, and then start over.
Schoolwork as in... Oh,
I'm doing some classes for a web design certificate.
Oh, yeah. I love it. So how are you feeling? I mean, that's just kind of a very cyclical routine.
I think that's what's driving me nuts, too. But, I mean, isn't everybody kind of in that? Like, what's your routine like?
So I was continuing to go to work in person throughout the entire pandemic. So I'm still doing that. And then I'm just taking on extra work as much as I can. I'm not really hanging out with anybody. I don't really have any friends right now.
Can I mention something? Oh, yeah. So, because it's funny you said that. And I guess I didn't realize this myself. So I'm on this New Dads group on Facebook where, basically it is what it is, New Dads Facebook group. And people chat about it. And this one guy had mentioned that he goes, I just had to move out of state and I don't have any friends. And he goes, how do you make friends when you're an adult? And everyone's like, wait, you have friends? Like, no, and everyone's like, no, we don't have friends. We're adults. We don't have friends anymore. I'm like, is that a thing? Like, do adults just, like, not have friends?
It was funny. I was talking to somebody today who was telling me how they're feeling more disconnected from their friend group. Like, the friend group hangs out without them, etc.
How do they hang out now?
Yeah, listen, I'm a social person. I have a lot of casual friendships, right? But, like, in terms of close friends, I don't have that many. Like, and it's not because I don't want friends. I think it's just like you realize that there's just some people are just there to kind of be, we go to work together, we do this together, and they're the fun friend or they're that, that one-time situation kind of friend. It's really hard to retain really solid friendships.
And also it's that cliche of like, you just don't have time.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Well, they do say, though, so they say you make your most friends during your early 20s, like college specifically, and then the friendships that you make in 30s and 40s are few and far between, but then they last longer. So, like, I feel like we're in that weird position, you and I, where we're kind
friends
of
forever then?
To jump into that next stage of, like, adult friendship, where we're meeting people who are like, this person's actually going to be here. Whereas, back in college, oh my God, best friends forever. And it's like, how many people do you talk to from college? Like, my best friend is from college. But after that, I guess another close friend is from college. But, a lot of my college friendships have kind of gone by the wayside. And not where I'm like sad or not where I'm like, well, there's good reason. It's just people drift. People get busy. People stop having similar things in common. They stop having to work together. They stop having to be in the same situations together. And
also another thing, and I know it sounds cruel, but almost some people just like never get beyond that. Like, I moved on, got married, had kids, and some people just kind of like spin their tires back in, the college days, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I remember graduating from college and some girl was crying next to me and she's like, oh my God, this is like the best days of our life are going to be behind us. And I was like, no, not for me. Like, life just keeps getting better, in my opinion. Like, there's no way I'm going to be like, college days were the best. I don't know.
I don't know. At the moment, as I sit, my college days were the best.
See, I honestly, as much as the quarantine sucks, I've never felt more driven and more focused on what I need to do and what I want to become.
I felt weirdly like more artistic than I've been, like with creating stuff. Things like that. And I don't know why.
A preview to some of what you've been creating, and I did enjoy your creationism.
I actually thought about this the other day. It's like, I know it's not the same level as The Plague, but you remember when The Plague came out? Or The Plague came out, like it's an album. When The Plague...
Are you talking about like the bubonic plague? Because I was not around in that.
But like, I was thinking about this, like The Plague created all of this weird like Renaissance art, like this change in like art and everything. I was like, what if that happens now because of this kind of stuff?
I thought of the same thing. But I don't know. I don't know because I feel like everything's such a giant question mark, and there's so many issues that are happening in tangent with COVID. You know, like we still have the Black Lives Matter protests. We have an upcoming 2020 election. You know, I don't know. I feel like back then with the plague, like there wasn't anything to do. It was like you were like at the castle, and you were like, oh my god, I could die. And, like, you just spent your time, like, trying not to die. And we're in this modern society where it's like, you know, like I said, the Black Lives Matter 2020 election, environmental issues, you know, what Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend and, like, is now, so there's just so much happening that, like, I just don't know if this will be a cultural revolution. I think this will definitely be, like, a defining moment. I think it'll be a defining moment. I just don't know if we can expect artistically like this to be a trendsetter the way that like, you know, the invention of digital platforms was a huge trend for art, or like, you know, pop art in the 1950s and 60s and, you know, modernism. I don't know. I just don't know how this would be a catalyst for art, but I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not an art history major.
I have a weird prediction. I have a feeling this whole COVID thing is going to weirdly mess up with the millennial and Gen Z psyche, and the fact that I actually think they're going to become like, at least I've seen this in myself, like become hoarders again, like our great grandparents were, like in a weird way, and like not necessarily with material items, but almost just like everything you think of, like concerts and, you know, events. And first of all, when do you think this is ever going to end? Do you have what's your prediction of when this will bottom out?
I honestly don't think anything will return to any sense of true normalcy till fall of 2021.
Fall of 21?
Yes, and here's why. Because they say that typically it takes 5 years to make a vaccine. So to have a vaccine in 2 years, apparently, would be unheard of. It would be a record. I think that there is so much money and so much time and capital and advancement that they can break that, you know, 5 year. They could do it in the 2 years. So I'm thinking what they might be doing is trying to roll out some stuff come winter, but then I don't know if anything will be effective until that spring, summer. And so that's why, to me, I think fall 2021 is my bet on when we'll start to see things kind of get back to normal. But I don't know, Paul. Do you think that things are ever going to be back to what they were pre-COVID? I feel like the cleaning and sanitization, the social distancing, which is actually great though, because like, no offense, some people were so freaking close to me back then in the supermarket line. Like, can you like back up with your basket? Like, you were literally on my butt with that basket. Like, I need you to like 6 feet back. Like, I love that. That can stay.
I honestly know.
I want there to be better mask conventions though, because like, listen. I will always wear a cloth mask at the grocery store, etc., whatever. But gosh, it is not great to be in for a long time. Like, we need like a bubble or like some kind of something to like
old school like submarine like sub helmets.
Yes, I'm a fan of it. If it could like filter out like something.
I saw this great picture of. Well, first of all, I think it will go back to normal because I feel like people are maybe Americans especially, they forget pretty easy. And let's be honest, you're fighting people trying to even put on their masks in the first place. And I saw this thing of people they're going to Walmart, but they're wearing mesh masks because they want to comply, but they're still trying to fight it.
The mesh masks is the most ridiculous thing ever. It's like wearing the bottom half of a condom and being like, I'm wearing a condom. Well, it's like the whole point of the mask is to cover your face.
They're doing it to silently protest safety measures, apparently.
No, I genuinely think a lot of people are doing it because they think, oh, it's a mask and it'll work and it'll make me breathe better.
You think people are that stupid?
Yes! Oh my gosh. There's some people that I think saw it and was like, oh my god, a mask for me. It's like,
I think this did really make me realize how kind of, I don't know, we don't think through any of these situations. We really don't. And it's funny, someone had mentioned, it's almost like people aren't educated in the scientific method, which involves errors, recalculations, and new methodology.
I don't know, man. I agree with you. I think people will try and make things normal, but I hope that we do keep some of the things that we've learned through this process. I really do.
Well, the only thing we can really learn from it, because at this point, it's like we're so deep into it, we might as well just accept defeat. Like, we lost. And
Paul, I've been saying this from day one. What they should have done was federal lockdown.
Well, no, what I was about to say
is paid out small businesses and people so that no one had to worry about finance for 2 months. And I feel like that would have taken such a wallop to it.
Well, here's what I was about to say: is we should honestly just consider this one a wash. We screwed it up. We lost to it at one, but we should know next time the biggest thing that we screwed up this time was the preparations. We were not prepared at all. Zero prepared.
Well, that's what happens when you fire the response people at the CDC or whatever. There was I forget the name, but there was the whole team of people that their job was to prepare for pandemics, and their funding got cut or whatever. I'm like,
well, Trump just started wearing a mask this week. It's July, and he just started wearing one.
Well, and then he was like, oh, it's so patriotic to wear a mask. I'm like, but you were saying for months that it wasn't. I don't get how, who conned that? Who made Trump think that he was patriotic for wearing a mask?
He missed a golden opportunity to sell some MAGA ones, too. I mean, seriously. But I saw this great Onion article because have you heard about all the protests going on in Portland? How they're rounding them, the feds are rounding people up in vans and shit.
Yes. And what's funny is people don't believe it, and I'm like, it's totally possible.
I saw this great article, and it was by Babylon Lee, which is the Onion. And it was, I think the title was NRA accidentally forgets to rise up against tyrannical government.
But people are so quick to be like, that's not possible. And I'm like, well, what about when the FBI tested drugs on innocent civilians? Or what about when, I don't know which government program, but a government program purposely injected syphilis into black men in the South as part of a research experiment? I mean, there's so many examples of the government doing these extreme.
Well, there's videos of it.
Fascist thing, of course, but people are like, no, that's not what happened.
No, what I usually hear is, well, they were rioting and they were damaging stuff. They should go away. That's what I usually hear.
Paul, I'm exhausted.
Do you have any advice columns or not this week?
You know what? I did pull 2, and let me set the scene on this first one. You know how I feel about Dear Abby.
Yeah.
Please explain how I feel about Dear Abby.
You think her opinions are shit.
Guess what, Paul? She got an opinion right.
Why do you follow her, by the way, if you hate her opinion so much?
Listen. I appreciate all sorts of advice columns because A, it makes me think about a situation, and then B, the future advice columnist that I kind of want to be in the future, just casually, not a full-time thing, but just a devil. It makes me think of what would I say, how would I write it?
Matt, I gotta say one thing though.
Yes.
You and me need to team up and start a company, and we'll both be private eyes. Can you imagine that?
Oh my gosh. Would we be? Oh my god. That sounds like a good sitcom. I'm gonna call Bravo. Bravo E and be like, listen, we have an idea for a reality show.
I would love to do that so much. Especially, I'd like to work with the old people who are getting catfished online. That would be the best.
Oh my god, that'd be so sad emotionally. Oh. But that work is so needed though. But here's the thing with Dear Abby. Abby is like the longest, like she is the most iconic advice columnist ever. Like she is like the Madonna to everyone else's like.
Which is weird because I honestly don't agree with her most of the time.
Well, and I do feel like she's slipping lately. Like at least in like since we've started this podcast and we've done these like my advice section, I gotta tell you, I just don't think she's been hitting them out of the park. But this one, I think actually I agree with. So, dear Abby, I've come into contact with my first and forever love again after 30 years. Oh my gosh. Now, they've had a few encounters, but when they happened, we, quote, fell right back into our comfort zone. Now, ding, 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 ding. We both have current relationships with others that are not satisfying. Oh. No relationship ever compares to him. Even though he never says it, I know in my heart he has hidden feelings towards me as well. This man has held my heart my entire life. I never stopped loving him. Do I finally tell him how I feel and risk possibly losing him forever, or should I remain silent and enjoy the encounters we have when they happen? And Abby says, I think you need to tell this guy how you feel about him. If you do, it will either enable him to tell you he feels the same, or it'll stop you from fantasizing about a relationship that won't happen. And if you satisfy the status quo, it doesn't necessarily mean these encounters will end, but at least you will know them for what they are. Amen, Abby. This has been going on, I'm assuming, at least after 30 years, so if not more.
Who thinks of writing into this, too, by the way, for, like, out of everything?
I mean, it could be real, it could be fake. But
I was going to say, do you think there's a fake?
Maybe, but like I feel like this is definitely a real situation. I mean, like there's plenty of people. My first boyfriend was the best, and I should have like ran away to be with him. And I was like, girl, like why didn't you? Like I don't know. I get really.
Don't you feel bad saying that all because they're with other people?
Here's the and I did ding this earlier. My little ding ding ding.
I mean, what about the other people?
Have current relationships with others that are quote not satisfying. Here's the thing.
What does that mean?
She could probably say definitively, hey, I'm with a guy I don't like, but can she definitively say that he's not happy in his relationship?
Well, that's what I meant. Like, what does she mean by they're dissatisfied? What are they dissatisfied with?
I don't know. But apparently they're both dissatisfied, which to me is like, can you really confirm he's dissatisfied? Or maybe he just likes this affair because it's going on for years and you don't stop it and it's a free side piece for him? I don't know.
I have a prediction for this.
Yeah.
Like even if they got together, the two side pieces, I guarantee it wouldn't last more than 6 months. After that.
My thing is in this situation, why hasn't it already like clicked? What's not clicking that it's been all these years and they still haven't like found the time or like
the actual relationship? I mean, that's what it is. That hasn't clicked.
He doesn't respect her enough to have a relationship? He's not interested enough in a relationship?
They wouldn't work together. It's obvious. You would never work together.
Based on
the fact that they've been doing this for years and it hasn't worked out. Why would it work out now?
See, and I kind of get, I'm thinking parallel to you too. It's like, if this hasn't happened by now, I just don't think it's bound to happen. I think, if anything, she should be honest, see what he says. Maybe he does say, oh my god, girl, I feel the same way, but maybe he's like, girl, sorry, this can't happen, and then she needs to just move on, dude. Move on from everything. So finally, Abby coming through with the correct advice. I got one more for you.
Let's hear it.
I am part of the HR department at my workplace. HR, by the way, human resources.
You're part of the Oh, wait. Oh, I thought you meant you were. I'm like, no, you're not.
That's always been my fallback plan was to do HR. Even though I'm really bad at it. But, like, it'd be fun to do, like, the parties for. Like, I'd throw the best office parties, but...
I'd feel bad walking people out after they got fired.
Mm-hmm. So, as part of the HR team, they hired Andre a few months ago as part of our student group. He's only 18, but he's a hard worker, takes initiative. I see him because I was part of his interview panel, blah, blah, blah. We've gotten closer since COVID, blah, blah, blah. A week ago, a cafe near our office opened up, takeout only, okay. And when I told Andre about it, he suggested we go there for a break. I've had coffee with other coworkers before. He offered to pay, and after we chatted at a park bench by the cafe, he offered a hand to help me up from the bench and held my upper arm until we left the park. Since then, we felt more comfortable making physical contact, but it's been nothing, quote, inappropriate, even though this whole thing seems kind of inappropriate. It's usually a poke or a bump on the shoulder or brushing up against each other in the hall. I bring this up because one of my coworkers, Jane, saw how we interacted and was like, girl, skeet. I don't think you should do this.
Considering she's HR.
You know, is there a tactful way that I can explain to my friend Jane that she shouldn't try to police her coworkers' social interactions, especially if they're not to be public? Yo, and this is exactly, and Allison gets straight to the point. This Ask a Manager, she's the best. She goes, girl, you need to stop it. Stop brushing up against him. Stop trading sexually charged jokes and compliments. He is 18. He is a student. You are in HR. You, first of all, like, no matter what position, you should be flirting with an 18-year-old student employee. But yes, you are in HR. It's your job. Like, this could be seen as sexual harassment. It could, and, you know, I feel like, yeah, it does affect how your coworkers see you because, well, first of all, we don't know her age. I'm assuming, though,
I was going to ask that.
I'm assuming, though, she's full-time HR, what, 23, 24, 25?
Oh, later than that, 30s.
Oh, my God, you think?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, and by the way, wait, I forgot to mention, HR lady, married.
Oh, my God!
She is married. So that, to me, implies she's probably even older than 25. She's probably, like, 27 at least?
It's a cougar.
Dude.
I've known so many HR managers who've gotten into like deep, weird crap like this. Like out of all people, HR, because they kind of feel like since they are the HR manager, they're safe. Who are they going to tell on themselves?
See, and here's the thing with the HR people. Listen, you could be the most bubbly HR person. You could be the HR person that everyone wants to go to their drinks with. Everyone wants to get tapas with. You can't do that. You are HR. You are in charge of hiring and firing and telling people, no, you can't do that. Yes, you can do that. You're probably maybe in charge of like raises and, you know, who gets to go on the trip to Las Vegas. You can't be having any sort of like relationship with people. Like a good HR rep should not be, quote, friends with anyone in the workplace. And listen, it sucks. I'm the kind of person who, like, I make friends immediately. Like, everyone that I work with, I would consider, well, most of the people I work with...
I was going to say, you want to rephrase that?
I took a huge, like, the brakes of the vehicle, literally. Most people I work with are friends with, but if I'm in a position where my job is human resources, I'm sorry. Can't do margaritas, girl. Can't go out to the bar.
That's pretty bold to do it, like, with everyone knowing you're married, too. That's even worse.
That's the thing. And she goes, well, I don't get why my coworker is like, about this whole thing. And I'm like, probably because you're married, you're HR, he's a student employee, he's 18. Like, for all we know, fresh out of 18. Like, you just turned 18 and got this job and is now being hit on by the HR lady.
Like, how many more signs are we going to give you?
I just don't get how the HR lady, to me, feels like she thinks that she's doing okay. Like, she is shedding all the problem onto her colleague. Like, well, my colleague should mind her own business. No, girl, your colleague's like, and I'm with her. I'm like, sorry that I'm getting so like worked up over this. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, I wouldn't even remotely want to. It's the old saying, you don't shit where you eat.
Well, yeah, I mean, back in college, I never went on dates with anyone from college because it just.
In college in general?
What?
Like college as a whole?
Like our college, because listen, love JCU, but JCU was less of a college and it was more of like high school. It was like high school plus. And this is my firm theory of John Carroll, and I feel like a lot of small private, small like colleges in general, I feel like this might be the thing. You are either branded a prude, a slut, or you get one long relationship, or 3 like small relationships, and that's it. That is what campus sees of you. So it's like I don't want to get involved.
Which one are you?
Well, probably number 2. But But no, I mean, the point being that, like, you know, in this, you know, in that college environment, like, it's just so judgmental. But I'm just aghast at, like, it's different to be like, oh, me and my fiance met at work, right? And, like, that makes sense, but, like, you're HR. You are married. He is an 18-year-old student worker.
How would you explain that to anyone, by the way? Like, literally at all.
How does she not say that out loud and go, ooh, problem.
She's
like,
blind by love.
Like, it's not like she's single and she works in accounting and he's 18. It's not like he's her age, but she's married and she works in HR. There's just so many elements to this that, like, are you that daft? You can, like, pull yourself away and be like, ooh, this looks bad.
Okay, you feel better now?
I'm still worked up about this whole thing.
Sure.
It's just, I think it's, you know what makes me upset? It's her audacity that she thinks it's okay.
Yeah.
Because her problem wasn't, I don't know what to do, or her problem wasn't like, do I fight my urges? Her problem was, why is Jane from down the hall judging me, the HR woman, for being married and hitting on an 18-year-old student? Her problem, oh my god.
I would question her judgment so hardcore after that. Like, Jane's got a free ticket too. Like, they can do whatever they want.
Can you imagine, like,
whatever they want?
Jane gets called into HR lady's office, and HR lady's like, Jane, you kind of messed up that Phillips project. I think we're gonna need to, like, let you go. And Jane's like, oh.
Do you?
Is that so?
Do you?
Are you gonna let go the way you let go of the 18-year-old's hand in the park? Fine, Jane, we'll keep you on.
Hey, I got one last little thing to wrap everything up. I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yes.
Going back to everything that's going on. What do you think of people going on vacation currently?
Oh, my God. Listen, I would love... Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. It's such a... We're not in person, because, like, I feel like in person we're so much better.
Well, my internet sucks, too, so it's like trying to catch up here.
We're, like, on delays. We're like...
But... I know a couple people who are, and it's just driving me nuts. Like, I'm doing so much to, like, you know, do my part and stay in. I've given up so much, and, man, people just can't. We're going to be stuck in this forever, man.
Listen, I want so badly, Paul, just to have a weekend on, like, a beach somewhere and just sit and just... I want that so badly. I'm not doing it! You know why? Because it's the right thing to do, is to stay home. Listen... Man. I don't judge people for, like, listen, you gotta work. You need to go to the grocery store. You need to go to Target, right? You know, my indulgence is the gym. You know, the gym's been open for like a month and a half, and I go to the gym because that's just what I need. That's like the one thing I need is like the gym. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, my gym does a great job at like cleaning and social distancing. Everyone stays in their own lane, which is the first time ever that people at the gym have ever stayed in their own lane. Right. Because usually people are like, "Are you almost done with that? Are you almost done with that?" Like, it's, which, by the way,
like you're on the treadmill with you. You done with this?
Like, are you done with this treadmill? I'm like, sir, there's like 40 treadmills. Go to another treadmill. But no joke, Paul, I've been ellipticaling like almost 2 hours a day.
Oh my god, look at you! And
it's just because like I need to like let out my pent and like 6 feet to the left, 6 feet to the right, 6 feet to the front and back. Like I'm all good. I'm in my little elliptical bubble. It's perfect.
But I'm talking about, like, I'll see everyone just, it's like, can we not just, like, put our own crap, like, just do anything? I know it sucks.
I grant certain people a little bit of that privilege, like, that, not privilege, I guess, but that little bit of comfort. Like, if someone's like, listen, like, I really need X right now. Like I'm gonna take that risk and go to this gym. I'm gonna take a little bit of risk and, you know, go rock climbing. I'm gonna take a little bit of the risk and go maybe sit in a restaurant out to eat with my mask. I give people that luxury a little bit. But the idea of, let me hop on a plane, let me go to Florida, where it's a hotbed right now, without a mask, without any real purpose besides me being selfish and wanting a vacation, that to me is like, uh-oh. Like, I'm like, ding, 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 again. Like, ding, 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 ding. Not only are you risking yourself.
It's just selfish.
But you're risking so many other people, and you know, wait, did you see this tweet that went viral? I think you'll enjoy it. It was this guy who basically, it was this whole story of like, basically this story of this one guy who went from saying like, coronavirus is a hoax or like blah, 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 I don't care. Yeah. And he went to Put-in-Bay, and it was like a 30-year-old guy He went to Put-in-Bay, and then the next thing you know, obituary post.
Damn. Obituary post?
It was this guy from Ohio. And this whole time, it's a hoax, I don't care, I'm not going to wear my mask, I went to Put-in-Bay, caught COVID, and died. And it's like, I mean, that's a perfect example of like, wow. Like, you don't care, you're going to Put-in-Bay, you're going on a vacation, you know, there's a difference between that small indulgence, right, and that large indulgence, and that is a large indulgence. But I don't know. I mean, if someone was like, listen, I need to get away, I need to go to a place, and they go out to the middle of the wood, like they drive themselves to Acadia.
There's two things that drive me nuts. The vacations and the big church services going on right now. Those are the two that drive me nuts.
Yes. The groups, okay. I think.
By the way, before you go on.
Indulgence if you go to a mass gathering like a church. If it's like safe, everyone's wearing a mask, you're all spread out, okay. But if you are packed like sardines and you are not wearing masks, that is ding, ding, ding. That is like vacation selfishness to me. That is ridiculous.
I mean, those things can be virtual. I mean, literally, they're so easy to make virtual. But
if I went to mass, not saying I do, Paul, wouldn't it be nice to, instead of having to wake up so early, put on some nice clothes, you just, you know, you're in bed and you just turn and you hit your laptop and there's the sermon for you.
Also, they were talking about how I think 20 to 30% of our cases they estimate came from places like Florida, like people just going all over the place and coming back.
Like, Paul, besides, like, I cannot tell you how many hours I've spent in the house. Probably as much as you, I'll be honest. But I miss going to Starbucks and, like, sitting there and just doing work. I miss going to, like, the library. I miss going places. Trust me, I do. But, like, my God, people, like...
We're never going to get out of this, too, because the people just won't stop. It'll be 2 years. I think you're right. Fall 2021 might be it.
Well, and that's what makes it hard, too, is it grows hard to care when you feel like so many people don't care.
I was reading this article about, I think it was done by UC Davis and their psychology department, and they called it COVID fatigue. And where people who are like, they're so just exhausted trying to do their part when people just won't do it. And there's like this weird trend going on that they found that people who like were like us who are doing careful are getting to the point like, fuck it, I don't care, I'll get it and die, I don't care. Like, I don't care anymore.
Well, and here's the thing, Paul, you know, and I guess that, you know, when I go to the gym, for example, the employees are wearing masks, but like 9 out of 10 of the people who are using the gym don't. And when I first went back, I was like, I brought my mask, and I'm like, just in case. And there's no point in me wearing a mask in that situation. Because the mask isn't protecting me, it protects other people. But if other people aren't wearing your mask, it's pointless. And it's a great situation where it's a question of like, you know, do I feel bad for not wearing my mask? A little bit, but at the same time, if no one else is wearing a mask, what can I do?
Right. That's the sad thing about the mask is it does more for other people and we don't care about other people.
Exactly. So. And it's like, and there's no point in me wearing the mask because I'm not protected in a way, right? Like no one else wearing a mask. And two, I don't know. And if someone wants to DM me and be like, here's why you should still wear the mask at the gym even if everyone else isn't, let me know. Because I'm curious, but to me it's like there's no point. I'm not protected, they're not protected because we're not all complying. So if we're not all complying, it's kind of like when you go to field trip and you have the buddy system. Mm-hmm. It's like if you lose your buddy, it's like game over, right? So, I don't know.
That's all I got.
To be fair, I think I had it in March. I'm like 90% sure I had it.
I had it, I'm pretty sure I had it in February because I was out for a week. I had the cough and it was terrible, man.
See, I am prone to headaches, but for 2 weeks I had the worst headaches, like day after day migraine. And I was like, this is so weird. Why is this happening? And like migraines that were so bad that like even Advil was like, girl, I'm sorry, we don't know what to do for you. And that's never been a problem. And then I talked to someone who had it and they're like, you know, it was just kind of headaches. And I had like a little bit of a sore throat. And I was like, oh, headaches. And when she told me, I was like, I think that must know what it was, because the 2 weeks was like.
I wouldn't be surprised if I had it in February when I got real sick. I never take off from work, and I actually took off from work for that.
Yeah.
And I work from home. All right. Till next time.
Wow, this was like a very sad ending. This got so like, wah, wah. Can't you be mad at the HR lady again?
Want me to find a funny story for you?
Oh my god, do you have one on hand?
It's a heavy topic, but it's a great thing. And let's just end on this fun anecdote. So the Washington Redskins are changing their name, right? Okay. And so they released, stupidly probably in hindsight, the names that they were in the final considerations for what they were going to be. Mm-hmm. Well, some guy went and trademarked all of them.
Yes!
So now they have to pay him if they want it.
What's that?
Apparently it's not that much to trademark things, because he trademarked not only the ones that they were that they were going to do, mm-hmm. but like a bunch of he trademarked Washington college savings plans.
Wow. At that point they just gotta give him $1 million and be like, you won, you won capitalism. There you go.
I saw someone who said they want Washington to change their name to the Washington Redskin Potatoes.
That's hilarious. I gotta ask you too before we sign off. I know you're a huge Tribe fan. Where are you leaning on the name change?
I don't care. I just want to see baseball.
Well, I mean, do you like the Spiders? Do you like the Guardians idea?
I don't want the Spiders, because we were the Spiders, and when we were the Spiders, we were historically bad. So I don't want the Spiders. The Guardians seem like a cop out, and you're probably going to get people complaining that it sounds too religious. So that one probably won't work. The
Spiders, because not only is it vintage, but it's also you can dress as Spider-Man.
The Cleveland Rockers are out because that's already trademarked. That was a team.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Guardians doesn't click for me. It feels very similar to Cavaliers, and it's kind of, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not.
Cleveland potholes.
Cleveland Erie. Cleveland Burning. Burning River. Isn't that the rugby or what team is named the Burning River? There's a team.
Oh, the roller derby team.
Yeah, the roller derby girls. They're awesome.
What if we just named ourselves the Cleveland Ohioans?
Oh, what did you think of? Someone was like, "Oh, call the baseball team the Cleveland Buckeyes." I'm like, "Ew, no, this is not."
No, that's a Columbus thing. That's not a Cleveland thing.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that.
Now I'm trying to think of great names. There would be maybe something with the Forest City. That might be cool because we're the Forest City. Mm-hmm. Think something like that.
Yeah, we'll have to think about it and
Cleveland Ticks. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come up with my list of names, and next week on the podcast I'll let you know there.
Oh my god, I'll come with my list too, and we can have a list off.
If we diverge at all, that's the name. If we somehow diverge, that's the name. Oh my god.
You bring your top 5, I'll bring my top 5.
No, do 10. Do 10. Let's do 10 each.
10? Ooh, okay. Really work hard. You better remind me though, because you know my memory. I'm like a goldfish. I can't comprehend ever.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I'm glad we ended on a little bit of a better note. Till next time. Peace out.
Later.